everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Emily Winslow, and today we are starting a brand new series where it's all about making our own gallery wall. And I've been wanting to do this for a while. I have so many frames I've been wanting to fill. So for this gallery wall, this is a little bit of my inspiration. I wanted to have a combination of some watercolor paintings as well as drawings to just make it all tied together really well. So for today, we are going to be filling out a 6 by 8 inch frame. And you can do whatever size you need to if you have a certain frame, but I just wanted to start off with this wooden one, and I can't wait to see what we all create. So let's go ahead and grab our paintbrushes and get started. So before we get started on today's gallery wall painting, let's go over what materials I'm using, and you can use whatever you've got at home. These are just the ones that I love to use. So for my watercolor kit, I am using Winsor & Newton. I love this kit. I started using it a little over a year ago, and it's just become my favorite. Now, these brushes are relatively new that I've started using. So they are called Silver Black Velvet, and I have a size 12 and 8. I love these. I can't believe I was working without them for a long time. But I would definitely recommend giving them a try if you haven't. I have these linked on my Amazon storefront in the description. Now for my paper, again, this is fairly new. If you have been following my tutorials, I used to use Strathmore a lot, and I have switched to Arches, which is one of the more recommended watercolor paper for professionals. Now, it is a little bit more expensive, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be price-wise. So again, I have it in my Amazon storefront. I would definitely recommend giving it a try if you haven't. Okay, so for this painting, I am going to use some painter's tape to just hold my paper down and make sure we have our clean border. I don't always use this, but I think it would be beneficial for today's painting. So if you have it, go ahead and use it. But if not, that is okay as well. I'm actually going to put a really thin border. I really don't want too much of the border to be shown in the painting, so I just want to barely cover it. In fact, the frame will probably just cover up the border, so you won't even see it at all. I'm just honestly doing this so that I don't get my table too dirty. And like I said, you don't even have to use this blue tape at all if you want to just have the messy border look. I go for that sometimes just because I think it looks really cool to have that. Okay, so now that we have that tape down, I'm going to go ahead and just draw out a light sketch of where we're going to put our paint. And for this one, like I said, we are just doing a pretty simple landscape. This is based off of one of the parks that I kind of grew up near, but I just think the colors is so pretty here. And you're welcome to work off of a photo that you have of a park, or you can just follow me in what I'm doing in this tutorial. It just helps to have a very light sketch of where we're putting paint. You don't have to be perfect with this. Mostly, I just want to lay out where our horizon line is going to be, maybe where the top of the trees are going to be, and the bushes in the background. But we don't need to worry about getting everything too exact. I think I'm going to maybe mark out to some of the flowers I'm going to put down here. Just don't worry about being too particular. I know sometimes I can get carried away with drawing, but I always find that it's best to be loose with your sketches, because in the end it probably won't be seen too much anyways. Okay, so now that we have that sketch, let's go ahead and get to painting. And I am going to go ahead and start with my larger brush here, the size 12. And I like to use this just for my initial wash or the sky, just because I can get a lot more paint spread quickly on the paper. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and mix up a nice sky color. And I like to use blue, maybe a little bit of white. I've talked about this before, but I know white is just a it's a known no-no for watercolor, just because it kind of makes it a little bit less transparent. But I love the way it looks in watercolor because I think it makes it look creamier, almost like an oil, and so I use it. So totally up to you whether you want to use it or not. I'm a rule breaker for watercolor. So we're going to rinse off our brush, and we're just going to take it all across the paper here at the top. I like to start with the sky, just because It's lighter and it can easily be covered by trees. It's always best to start working light to dark in watercolor. So then we're going to go ahead and grab our color here, and I'm just adding a little bit more pigment in there, and we're going to start dropping in this nice light color here throughout the sky. I like to start at the top by the edges and just kind of pull it down, and we're just going to continue dropping in some more pigment in here. I want to leave some spaces open to be clouds, so you don't have to be too careful with where you're leaving them open. Just let your brush and your wrist do the work. Just flick around the paint, and naturally you're gonna leave some spots open here. I'm gonna mix up kind of a peach color. We want some yellows and reds in here, and I just wanted to kind of drop this in right in the clouds. I love the look of cotton candy skies, and so that's kind of what we're going for here, as if the sun were setting, and it's making that warm glow in the clouds. And I'm just kind of adding some more warmth in here and there. Now I'm just gonna kind of drag this color down, even though we're probably going to be covering this up with trees. I just wanted to make sure it's well blended into the areas. I want to mix up like a purplish color now. It always helps to add those shadows under the clouds when the paint is wet. That way it blends in really nicely. And so we're just dropping in paint really lightly here. We don't want to be too heavy-handed with this. Otherwise, you know, you might end up adding a little bit too much paint, and I definitely do that sometimes. So I always find it's just best to start light and with less paint on your brush, and you can always go back and add in a little bit more. So I think that sky is starting to look really nice. I just love the look of fluffy clouds, and I don't know, that's what I've been inspired by a lot. All right, so now let's go ahead and move on to the trees that are back here, and I am going to mix up like a really nice cool green. Now we want it to be cool because when working with watercolor, or really any painting for that matter, it's best to have cool colors towards the back. It just helps them appear further away. If you just observe in real life, you'll notice that things that are further away are just lighter and might have a cooler look to them. So we're just adding that here for the trees in the back. And notice that the paint is still a bit wet, so it's helping it blend in really nicely. And we're just following that horizon line. Now I'm just going to add a little bit over here, but we're probably going to put some trees right here that look closer up. So I don't need to fill in the whole area. I'm just kind of wanting to fill in a little bit here. I do want the top of these trees in the back to kind of have a little bit of that warm glow from the sun setting maybe. And so I'm just dropping in some orange here at the top of the trees. Kind of just helps it look like a certain time of day when the trees have that glow. I love simple landscapes like this. I think that they look great in any home, and if you're doing it for your own home, I hope that it just adds a little piece of joy to your walls. Or if you're doing it for like a gift for a friend, that's always so special, I think, to give friends handmade gifts. I need to do that more often. I always kind of forget that I can make a gift for a friend. I have to spend money all the time on gifts. Now, I used to go to this park that we're painting. I used to go here for cross-country practice back when I was in high school. I miss that. I am not much of a runner anymore, which I probably should get back into it because running is good for you. Although it's not been very nice to, whenever I run, I feel like my hips and knees hurt. I feel like I'm getting old. But this park is just special to me just because it reminds me of cross-country days and running in the park. All right, so now we're going to tackle just our main field here. So I just really wanted this field to really represent that glow of the evening and have this warm and orangey tint to it. So we're just going to wash it all over with water first. Now I'm going to take in my warm colors here. So I have some yellows. So something to be careful with is I don't want my colors to be too vibrant or neon. I like to have some more toned down earthy colors. So I'm just adding some like browns in here, maybe a little bit of white to just kind of help tone it down. And I'm just going to start dropping that in here very lightly. Let it start spreading around. I'm leaving some spots because I am going to add some more green for the grass, and I want to make sure that we've got some spots open. Now I am adding some purple in here just to add some of that color. I love kind of the use of colors and adding in colors you wouldn't think would go there. Like I love to use purples and blues just to cool down my browns. It really just adds some life to it when you add in those purples and blues as shadows. So we're just lightly adding this in, and this is kind of, I would say, I don't even know, it's like a wheat field but it also has flowers in it. I'm not a plant expert. What I noticed was there were also patches of greens here, and so I'm just gonna tap that in, and it was like a nice brighter green, which I think added so much beauty to this field. And I'm actually going to take this green color and just kind of add that a few more places throughout this field. Now let's go ahead and add our orange. I'm going to add our warmer color down here at the bottom. Now this is where I want to start dropping in a couple of the places where I want to add flowers, and then we will go ahead and define them later when it's dried a bit more. But I do want to add some like pinkish colors right here at the bottom. We don't need to be too tight with where we're putting these flowers. I'm really just dropping in colors to just kind of put a placeholder of where we want them to be, and then we're gonna go define them a little bit more later. I also want to add in just some places for white flowers as well, which can be a little bit trickier. So I'm just using like an off-white color here to go around those areas where I want to leave space white, and that way we make sure to not paint over that. And lastly, there were also some purple flowers here I wanted to add, just kind of an assortment of different color flowers that are in this field. So now let's go ahead and add in those wheat colors here at the bottom, and we want it to blend well with those blobs of paint that we put down for the flowers, so that is okay that they're blending together. And if you are new to watercolor, this is what's called kind of the middle ugly stage, so please keep pushing through. When I first started watercolor, I would throw away so many pieces of paper that were in the stage because I just didn't push through and wouldn't finish the painting because I could not see the vision. So it's okay to just feel like it's not really going the way you want right now. It's just part of the painting process, and watercolor is just one of those mediums that, you know, has that stage where everything looks like a blob, and that's okay. Now I'm just going to add some more color to these white blobs, just so it's not so stark. And I also wanted to add some yellow flowers here that are kind of, I think, more weeds than flowers, but I think they're so pretty. You're free to add in whatever kind of flowers that you want to add. I'm just kind of trying to loosely follow along with the reference photo that I have of this park, but if there's any sort of flower that's special to you, you're welcome to add that in. I'm just going to add a few bushes here in the middle ground. Now I'm going to go ahead and add in the trees that are here in this left area, and I'm just going to have a darker green. We want it to cover what we've done in the background for those trees, so it needs to be a darker green. And I'm just going to mix some brown and even some reds in here, a little bit of Payne's gray. And once you've got the color you like, we can just go ahead and start swiping in where you want the trees. So I like to be really kind of messy with the edge of the trees just to make it kind of look realistic. You know, trees have branches that go everywhere, and so we are just using the tip of our brush to really make those leaves at the end of the tree. No tree is going to look the same, so you don't need to worry about doing the exact kind of brush strokes I'm doing. All of our trees are going to look completely different. I would not be able to replicate this exact painting if I tried my hardest. Like, every painting will look different. And so that's why original art is so valuable, is because no one can exactly replicate a piece of art. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of warm tones into my green here, like around the top and maybe the bottom too. I just want to make sure we're getting those colors in to kind of signify that it's a little bit of it's evening time and the sun is making everything warm. I'm just doing one last tree right here, so I want it to just go over the background that we put in there nicely. Okay, so now I am going to go ahead and just add in some darker greens to the bottom of this tree right here. And I like to add it to kind of one side of the tree just to give it that shadow look to it. Now I'm just going to kind of go over some of the areas here in the middle ground that I just want to make a little bit darker and more vibrant. And so I'm just going to swipe in some color here. And I really want to kind of warm up this area up here that I want the sun to really just look like it's reflecting off of this area. And again, we're just adding in some purples here at the bottom. It helps to kind of just layer on colors like this. That way we don't add on too much color at once, but you can always go back and go over to just add in some darker tones if you need. I just feel like I kind of erased the bush that was right here, and so I kind of want to add that back in just like this. It looked like there's some shrubs here in the middle ground. Okay, so now for this foreground area, I really want to make some upward movement so that it looks like there's some long grass here in the front. So you can just take the tip of your brush and go upwards, kind of make some different motions so it's not too straight of lines. We want to make sure that there's like movement in here, as if the grass were blowing in the wind or moving around. So this is one of the reasons I really like this silver black velvet brush, is because it does have a really thin tip, so you can make those thin lines, but also you can make thick lines if you need to by laying your brush down a little bit more. Okay, now I don't want to forget the trunks of our tree, so I'm just going to grab a little bit of brown here, and I don't like it to be too much of a brown, if that makes sense. Like I want to add in some blues and purples. I kind of just do that with all of my tones. I don't really like to have straight up like yellow or red. I like to have just some neutral colors in here just to tone things down, make them a little bit more earthy. And so for the trunks, we're just going to be really light with these, just making downward motions. And I want there to look like there's a bunch of trees here. So I'm just going to make a couple lines. I don't want to go too crazy. I want it to look like a group of trees, really. And the paint is still wet, so it blended a little bit, and that's okay. I want to leave it like that for a moment, and then we'll go in and sharpen things up. But I kind of like to start with that blended look before adding in more detail. I think it just helps add some dimension to the painting. Okay, now I'm going to revisit my flower field, and I just want to add in a few more colors here. So let's go ahead and revisit our pinks, and I'm just taking this pink color mixed with white. I do want to lay that in here just to make it more apparent that these are flowers. And again, we don't have to be too exact with where we're putting them. I'm just laying down some what looks like petals. I find it stressful if you're trying to make something look too perfect, and that kind of takes the fun out of painting. I think it's just fun to, give the impression of something. That's why I love Impressionism, is because I just want it to somewhat make it look like that. It doesn't have to be photorealistic. Some artists are amazing at photorealism. And we're going to take some more yellows. I do want to add a bit of brown in here just to give it some more of that earthy tone. Okay, so at this point I want to just go ahead and layer on some darker colors to define just like the bottom of trees. Sometimes the paint can blend in a little too much, so you'll need to go back and add a few more layers. I'm going to go ahead and add another layer to our trunks here. So we're just going to take a brown and a blue, and we're just going to go ahead and layer over the trunks that we had. That way we have more of a defined area. Go ahead and swipe that over the blurred area where the trunk was laid. And I like to have some thin lines, kind of as if they were branches going out of the trunk. So you can just take the tip of your brush and swipe upwards. I like when you can see the trunk kind of a little bit through the middle of the tree. I think it makes it look a little bit more realistic. Okay, so now we are going to just go ahead and take a dark brown and orange, and one of the last things I want to do in this painting is just to take some brown. I mixed it with purple and blue, and we're just gonna swipe upwards just to make a couple foreground flowers and pieces of grass. I think it always helps the dimension when you have the use of blurriness in the background and then more sharp shapes here in the front. And then I'm going to go ahead and take a green, and we're going to add that in near some of the flowers to add a stem. I'm just going to put some green here in the yellow flowers that we added. I want to make some leaves off the stems just to give it more of a messy look. And I think that is a good ending place for our painting. I love how this looks, so let's go ahead and peel off the tape. This is one of my favorite parts. So we're just going to lightly peel this tape off. We don't want it to rip the paper. And I always love revealing this clean border. So we probably won't see it though once we frame it, but I'll show you what it looks like framed once this painting dries completely. Okay, let's go grab our painting and put it in this frame. I'm so excited to see it. So here is our completed painting. I'm actually just going to go ahead and put it in this frame first without the glass, just so you can see it a little bit better and there's no reflection. Okay, I love it. I think it looks so sweet in this frame. I love getting wooden frames. I think that the natural look really just makes nature paintings look really homey, and I think this is going to be a great addition to the gallery wall. So if you completed this tutorial, I hope that you enjoyed it and it was helpful for you, and that you are on your way to completing your own gallery wall. So leave me a comment below on what else you'd like to learn how to paint. I'd be happy to make a tutorial on it. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in my next gallery wall video where we're gonna do another watercolor painting. So until we paint again next time.